What up, YouTube? It's Misery Company. We are back with another Warcraft Rumble video. In this one, we're breaking down the brand new Siege of Ironforge, guys. Now, before we get into it, huge shout out to Warcraft Rumble for sponsoring today's video. In this video, we're actually going to be breaking down the first wing, if you will, the first part, one of the first boss of 3 in the Ironforge siege. This is a very interesting siege in total, and each boss is very unique. So I'm making each individual boss its own video, so that way you can get a full breakdown of how to beat them individually. So the first one is none other than the Thiefcatchers, and it's honestly, like I said, all of these fights are very unique and actually pretty fun to engage with. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. I'm going to probably just play it through and then maybe pause it here and there just to sort of speak on certain parts, but it's actually really unique. So as we get started here, you're going to see the map is you get the one main turret, you got one on the mid, and there's actually one on either side, okay, that you can take over and then push accordingly. The bosses start at the top of the map. There's a chest in the middle. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's very quickly becomes incredibly hectic in the best possible ways. So let's go ahead and continue playing. So again, this is a siege, so it is, in case you're new to Warcraft Rumble, you can download it totally for free in the link of this video and in the description, but you can actually play this with a friend in your guild. So this is a 2-person siege. Now, first thing I always do is try to prioritize gold. So like most times, you just sort of either pick a lane. This was my first time ever doing it. I didn't look at any other videos. I just picked the left lane, was like, you know what, let's go with it. Let's go here. It looks like my partner actually joined me. I just wanted to sort of overwhelm that side. Now, again, that was the boss's polymorph, so not my own. You're going to notice they actually cast polymorph a non-trivial amount, which is definitely going to be a mechanic that you're going to pay special attention to. And there's a ton, and I mean a ton of ads that get, well, added. So we get the first tower, we actually lose it immediately, but then we use just our overwhelming strength and power to take it back over. Now you're going to also know right here that right where after we took over the tower, there is a arrow, so that you can actually a directional arrow, so you can pick which way to go. So it's essentially this diamond shape of a map, and so we're on the left right now. We can either continue going left and go towards the bosses, or towards the middle, which is what we ended up doing to try to overwhelm the middle and get that mid tower. I will say that while this is not a lot of ads, just wait, they're coming. So the big thing that I would recommend for, like, in terms of deck building, and I'll go over to which deck I use at the end here. There's another polymorph. And very strategically used, I might add, on the healers and the DPS, but is making sure you have like a go-to tank, and then either a healer like a Frostwolf Shaman, or just a ranged DPS like I had here with our Cenarian decks. So now I want to, again, just prioritizing gold as much as possible. You see that we're pushing mid as where we can, but then there are just more and more footmen that join the battle. And keep in mind, because it is siege, you are squished no matter what level you are. So even though my units were above level 20, we are squished down to level 20. So in case you're curious why everything is level 20, which again makes it both new player friendly and veteran friendly. So if this is your first siege, you know, this is the second siege in general into Warcraft Rumble, but this one in particular is level 20 cap. So if you are below level 20, it brings you up to level 20, and the opposite occurs as well if you're above it, like I just said. So again, sort of now we're actually, there's 3 bosses. That's what represents the 3 different health bars at the very top. You can see that we are just sort of tanking and spanking the first one, and the first one goes down. So now we're working on the second one. Now the health has not gone down, and again, this was my first time going through it. So you can see now the health is starting to go down a little bit for the total health at the top. So you can see that now we get more and more ads. You can see they come in sort of waves. So now we're the Griffin wave, and they took the left tower. We didn't have a lot of units to answer that, admittedly. I had used some of my spells, which probably weren't great. I'm using Ysera, if you couldn't tell, who's good in her own way. I'm really trying to figure out where she fits the meta. Oh my, Defile bandits. All of the bandits. So this is, yeah, lots and lots of ads all at the same time. But I'm really trying to figure out where she's best, and I think she's fine. I think that this deck that I use, and again I'll show it at the very end, was beneficial and was good, but just very different using her sleep skills. like on learning which pack to use it on for sure. I did use Dragon's Breath a lot. Again, maybe a waste of gold because it's not one hitting all of those footmen, and those footmen are sort of the things that's overwhelming us. We are consistently applying pressure to the middle, so that's really important to note. So now we are at actually phase 2, so you can see that we only have the one boss left, and they are at the very top. Again, throughout this, you continue to get waves of units added on either side. The biggest thing that I would recommend in terms of strategy is to maintain pressure to the middle like you see we are here. You can see that we are just burned through phase 2, and then bam, as soon as you get to phase 3, you get these mines all over the map. Okay, so and again, polymorph are still going off. So the polymorph goes off like best possible time for the boss, worst possible time for you, sort of thing, and it's surprisingly well targeted considering it's, you know, a mechanic in the game. But yeah, it literally like won't hit your tank half the time. It'll hit the units that you don't want to get hit by. All right, so you can see our units are polymorphed, they're dying, so now we basically reset a little bit. So we got a slow push going left, and then admittedly, I didn't know what these, again, first time doing this, I didn't know what these traps did. I wanted to see if I could pop them with my flame breath, could not, so I just delete the units and then try to progress again. That chest in the middle is such a bait, in my opinion. Like, we maybe got it like twice when we were just had overwhelming amounts of people in the middle, but like we really just didn't have it. So there you go. I popped it there to try to figure out what it did. It looks like it just did AoE damage and stuns as well. So you can see the full mechanic of those there. Obviously, it doesn't affect the enemy units, but it does stun and do AoE damage to your units. So basically, it's like the best way of clearing your units. And again, you can't use a spell to clear them, which was the rough part. And this is where a cycle unit probably would have been ideal. Something like Defile's Bandit, where we could have just dropped them and then cycled through and then got them back. In fact, cycle units in general are probably really good for, now that I say that out loud, are probably really good for especially this unit or like this raid, but generally good could be for all. So let's go ahead and continue the fight here. You can see that we're in the last phase. There's no other mechanics being added outside of just adds and or additional units being added, and then just the boss, who is goes in back and forth of being invisible, and then now you just sort of tank and spank, and you can see that we are applying dots where we can with our headless horseman. The poison is fantastic. Not a mandatory unit. You could easily do dark spirit troll with poison or harpies, as long as you have a unit to tank. Like, again, I've stressed it enough, but like, you have to have something to tank the boss, and then something to answer those footmen. So again, harpies would have been a really good option. The little whelps egg dragon things that I have were good as well, but ultimately we did kill the boss. Again, Dragon's Breath, not useful, honestly. If I could go back, or when I do it again, I would not pick Dragon's Breath. I don't think it was advantageous at all. You could probably do Execute if you really wanted to like push certain phases, and then you're saving, you're changing it for a 3 gold cost instead of a 4 gold cost, and that's sort of more new player friendly than running the Dragon's Breath, which is obviously an in-game mechanic. But let's go. We got our Valor there. But I wanted to show you the deck that we use. So the deck is right here. So again, I would not recommend Dragon's Breath at all. Ysera, it was fine, right? I mean, cycling to the egg that gives you or like the innovate that gives you additional gold for you and your partner is fantastic. I love that. I got it 2 or 3 times if I remember correctly. Headless Horseman was good. It's just a very, very strong unit. You can see that I got mine to gold while that event was out. And then of course I have my tank and then my ranged Cenarian minis. Your Quillbarrel, again, it's a cycle mini, so I would keep it. And then our Witch Doctor is probably in almost all of my decks all the time. So a very, very good mini there as well. Ultimately, guys, I think cycling through, having Defile's Bandits would have been a additional option that I would have loved to have to sort of answer some of those just quick needing an answer to something. But that's also a really good option. Again, basically drop. This deck is totally fine. If you don't have Headless Horseman, not a problem. Put Harpies there actually instead, and then just get rid of Dragon's Breath in this deck for Execute, and that's probably a much better deck than what I utilized. So let me know what you guys thought about this fight. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I cannot wait to cover the rest of them for you. So if you want to see them, make sure you subscribe to this channel, guys, because I am bringing you all of the best Warcraft Rumble content. And once again, thank you so much to Warcraft Rumble for sponsoring today's video. I hope to see you guys in a video soon. Make sure you download it totally for free in the link of today's video and in the description. Have a good day.